Here in this program, we are going to count the number of ones and zeros in two consecutive memory locations. So we are going to declare an array which consists of any two numbers. You can choose number of your choice. Now we fetch the number one by one and count the number of zeros and ones present in each number. So we are going to declare two variables, that is ones and zeros, in which the number of ones in each of the number is going to be, the number of ones are going to be stored in one, in the variable one, and the number of zeros are going to be stored in the variable zero. Okay. So we are entering into the first loop, which counts the number of zeros and ones in the first number, and so on. Even the second number, it's going to count the number of zeros in the second number. So we are going to do it one by one. In order to accumulate, we use two variables, zeros and ones, which holds a count of ones and zeros. And this counting is done by the basic logical operation, that is shift operation. And we are making use of right shift, in which the shifted number is accumulated in the carry. So initially, we are initializing the carry value to 0. So coming to the first for loop, array of 0 is accessing the first element in the array, which is indexed by 0. So instruction array of 0 is right shifting, and also the number is stored back in the array. So the shifted number is stored in carry. Now we will check for the carry. If the carry is equal to 1, counter for ones is incremented, or else the counter for 0 is incremented. The for loop is repeated for 8 iterations because in a hexadecimal number, which is defined as char, number of bits is equal to 8. So at the end of the first for loop, based on the number of ones and zeros in the number, ones will be stored in counter ones and zeros in counter 0. So here in the first array, which is 0x57, 57 is the number which we are taking. So the number of ones is 3. Sorry, the number of ones is 5 and the number of zeros is 3. Okay, and for the second for loop, the second element of the array is accessed, and the same process is repeated, incrementing the ones and zeros from the previous value. After completion of the loop, the final count of zeros are displayed in port 0 and port 1. The while loop is given for the infinite loop. So for the second number which we are going to take, that is 0xfc, the number of ones is 6 and the number of zeros is 2. So in the output, we are going to see that the total number of ones in port will be stored in port 1, which will be 11, and in hexa it is stored as 1b. And the number of zeros in port will be stored in port 0, which will be 5. So let's check the output. So going on here, right click, rebuild all targets, debug, start stop. Okay. So you can see port 0 and port 1 is already displayed. Debug, run. So as mentioned, the number of zeros in port, the number of zeros will be displayed in port 0. For both number 1, for both number 1 and 2, the total number of zeros in these two numbers were 5. And the number of ones in will be displayed in port 1, which was 11, and in hexa 11 is nothing but B, which is shown here. Thank you.